you are all here and you're going to be right?
Yes.
Yes.
And I agree on this position in order to carry out the purpose of House Bill 8795. The goal of this commission is to study and make recommendations for protecting and providing effective care for vulnerable populations in the state-funded home care program. The commission is expected to report back to the House of Representatives on or before April 20th of 2017, and whose life will expire on the date of May 23rd of 2017. The first order of business is to nominate. Can I enter a motion for someone to nominate? Representative Canary.
I nominate Representative O'Grady as chairman.
Do I have a second? Any other nominations? No other nominations? Nominations are closed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jim? It's over.
Thank you, Mr. Skenyon. Thank you, members of the Commission, for being here today and for your willingness to serve in what I hope will be a productive commission. At times it may be painful, but these are issues that I believe deserve to have some attention paid to them. I want to give the Commission members a brief background as to why I put this bill in last year and why we're going to review this issue in great detail moving forward. I have for some time now had the pleasure of serving as a coach on the Lincoln North Stars Special Olympics team, and I've gotten to know Dennis a little bit through that. And it was at an invitation from the head coach of that team, who is a constituent of mine, and her developmentally disabled daughter, who is also a constituent of mine, that I first got involved in that team. And unfortunately, I was told just 2 years ago of a very difficult situation that this family is now facing due to abuse of the daughter in question at the hands of a hired caregiver. The mother, who will be joining us at our next commission hearing to share her story in complete detail, really had no luck in having the matter dealt with under the avenues that are available to folks now. And through her research and through some discussion she's had with others that specialize in this particular issue, it appears that this is not an isolated case, but it is something that is, I don't know if it's prevalent or what the word is, but it's not an isolated incident, and it occurs far too frequently and apparently with far too few avenues for the victims to have their attackers brought to justice, for lack of a better term. Over the course of the last 2 years or so, when this issue was brought to my attention, I did some research with the help of staff here and spoke with folks at both the Department of Health and at Buddha about how this caregiver industry, for lack of a better term, is regulated. Is there a certification process in place? Is there a licensing process in place? The answer to both those questions was no. And so perhaps we might look at how to better regulate those who are providing services to really our most vulnerable population. It strikes me as the father of two young kids that if you are a predator and you are looking for a victim, you may find yourself with a perfect victim here. If you are with a non-communicative, developmentally disabled child, young adult, or adult, and the avenues through which abuse is dealt with appear to be very limited. So what I'd like to do is spell out what I'm hoping will be an agenda for us moving forward, but this is a rough agenda and certainly can be added to. And in fact, I encourage input from all of you to add to this agenda. What I'm thinking is that the next time we meet, we will hear from this particular parent. I'm in touch with another parent who has a similar story to tell us, another representative a colleague of mine on the House floor had a very similar issue brought up last year when I was going through my research. I came in one day to find out that in this particular case, a constituent with a non-communicative autistic son came home to find her son with signs of physical abuse, yet law enforcement was unable to pursue an action due to the non-communicative nature of this particular victim. So I want to hear these stories. I think that these folks who have volunteered to speak are brave for doing so, and I think we should have the benefit of their bravery by hearing these stories. I then have asked Kendra, our committee staffer, to go through some of the research that has been provided, Department of Justice statistics, and perhaps folks from any agency represented here might have some thoughts on what statistics we should be looking at, what reports we should be looking at to get a sense of the scope of this problem. I then would like to talk about some of the avenues through which this industry is regulated and protection or not, and the type of protections that are available either through legal, regulatory, licensure means. Perhaps look at some best practices from other states or look at how other jurisdictions are handling this. And then eventually, at some point down the road, I'd like to get us to a place where we either agree that this is a problem and there should be a legislative proposal made to address the problem. If so, let's talk about what that is. Maybe we'll reach other conclusions, but I fear that once we start looking at this stuff, we will reach the conclusion that led me to put in legislation creating this commission. As I say, I'm happy to direct folks to Kendra, whose information you have, who will help us put together future agendas as we move forward. And I'm happy to open the floor to any opening comments for any members here today. Yeah, and that's a great idea. Representative Chippendale mentions that it would be great to have everyone actually introduce themselves. That might be beneficial. So we'll start down in the corner here. What you need to do is exactly that, push your button so that it's up and speak into the mic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Nicholas Oliver. I'm the Executive Director of the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care. The partnership is the state's trade association that represents home care, home nursing care, and hospice care providers licensed by the Rhode Island Department of Health.
I'm Christine Emond. I am the administrator for the Quality Assurance Quality Improvement Unit for BHDDH. So we oversee all of protective services for the 18 to 59 disabled, as well as those who are developmentally disabled for adults. And so that's what we oversee that. Thanks.
Dennis Canario, State Representative. I sit on the House Education, Health and Welfare Committees, the Veteran Committees, and Judiciary Committee. And I'm also a parent of a child that's disabled.
Representative Michael Chippendale from District 40, Foster, Gloucester, and Coventry. And as a disabled Rhode Islander myself, all of these issues that relate to those with disabilities, regardless of what they are very important to me. So I am honored to be asked to serve on this committee. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deborah Garnell from the Health Department, and I am the Maternal and Child Health Special Needs Director at the Health Department.
Marshall, I'm here today representing the Rhode Island Developmental Disabilities Council. Actually, the Associate Director of the Council will be serving on the committee, but he's out of town today, and I'm sitting in for him.
Dennis DeJesus, CEO, Special Olympics Rhode Island. I'd like to commend Representative O'Grady for taking the leadership on this key issue. Both he and I have lived through it in discussions with the parent who will be testifying before us at our next meeting, and commend the House for making this a point of emphasis. Thank you.
My name is Tony Antosh. I'm the director of the Sherlock Center on Disabilities at Rhode Island College. The Sherlock Center is a federally designated university center for excellence on DD, and we've existed for about 25 years. Our federal mandate involves essentially research, training, and TA to both individuals who are disabled, families, and the people who provide support to them.
I'm Ray Bandusky. I'm the Executive Director of the Rhode Island Disability Law Center, which is a federally funded law office designated as Rhode Island's protection and advocacy system for people with disabilities.
I'm Peg Langhammer. I'm the Executive Director of Day One. I commend you, Rep, and your colleagues for... Make it. Okay. There we go. I should know that by now. I commend all of you for establishing this commission. Day One is a statewide not-for-profit that primary mission is dealing with sexual abuse. One of our programs, the Children's Advocacy Center, is a nationally recognized model which is also offered to people with disabilities. And essentially, we provide forensic interviews and support for people with disabilities through that model and have worked collaboratively with the department for a number of years. And the prevalence, and maybe many people here know this, but the prevalence of sexual abuse in the disability community is like in the high 70s, 77%. It's completely phenomenal. I mean, I know it, and it's, to me, unbelievable. And I am really happy to be here and want to work in whatever way we can in collaboration with those of us who are committed to trying to address this much more effectively in the state, which we know we can do. So.
And thank you all for serving again. I look forward to diving into this issue. I am thinking that we should probably talk about when is convenient for folks to meet. Next, I'm hoping that we can do something the third week of February, because next week is the first week of February. So that would be the week of Monday the 13th. If there is a time that week that works for folks, maybe Kendra can circulate some sort of doodle poll or whatever we do these days to figure out how we can get 12 people into the same room at the same time. And as soon as we can figure that out, it'd be great, because then we can line up some folks to testify. Again, I think we're looking at least 2 folks, if not 3, who want to share their stories that day. And unless there's other business, I thank you all for being here today, and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.